All right, let's talk about one of the most brilliant military strategies I've ever come across. It's all about turning what looks like a weakness into your most powerful weapon. We're going to dive into a masterclass in psychology, in deception, and really how you can set things up so that victory isn't just possible, it's pretty much guaranteed. So to really get this, we got to start with a key idea from Sun Tzu's The Art of War. It's a concept called shi. Think about it like this: a big round stone at the top of a huge mountain. It's not about how hard you push it, it's about setting it up so that when it starts rolling, absolutely nothing can stop it. That's shi. It's strategic momentum. And believe me, we're about to see this idea in action in one of the most brilliant deceptions in all of military history. It's a story that shows you exactly how you build up that momentum and then unleash it. Okay, so let's set the scene. We're going way back to the 4th century BCE, to China's Warring States period. And this whole thing really boils down to two rival strategists. You've got the brilliant Sun Bin, and then you have his super arrogant former classmate, Pang Juan. And trust me, their rivalry is about to explode in the most incredible way. All right, so here's how it all kicks off. The powerful state of Wei, led by Pang Juan, is just hammering the state of Han. We're talking 5 straight defeats. Han is desperate, so they call on the state of Qi for help. Now, Qi's strategist is our guy, Sun Bin, and he does something classic. Instead of going straight for Wei's army, he makes a beeline for their capital. This totally panics Pang Juan, who has to drop everything he's doing and race back to defend his home. And just like that, the chase is on. Now, Sun Bin is no fool. He knows he's outnumbered. He knows a straight-up fight with Pang Juan's massive, overconfident army is basically a suicide mission. So his goal isn't just to win a battle. No, it's much bigger. He wants to completely change the rules of the game, to turn Pang Juan's biggest strength, his massive, confident army, into his fatal weakness. And this is where the real genius of the plan kicks in. Sun Bin is about to use a simple but absolutely devastating psychological trick. He's gonna play Pang Juan's own arrogance against him. So as his army pulls back, Sun Bin gives a strange order. Each night, they're to build fewer and fewer cooking stoves. So day 1, they make enough for 100,000 soldiers. The very next day, only 50,000. And by day 3, just 30,000. You see what he's doing? He's writing a story for his enemy to read. A story told with the ashes of old campfires. And you know what? Pang Yang falls for it. Hook, line, and sinker. He's tracking the number of stoves, and it just confirms everything he already believed about the Qi army. He sees this evidence and thinks, ha, I knew it. They're cowards, and they're deserting in droves. This mistake is exactly what Sun Bin was counting on. Pang Juan is so sure he's just chasing down a shattered remnant of an army that he does something really rash. He leaves his main infantry and all his heavy supplies behind and just races ahead with his elite cavalry. Sure, he's faster now, but he's also completely alone and incredibly vulnerable. So now the trap is set. Sun Bin has Pang Juan right where he wants him. Arrogant, separated from his main army, and speeding right into a kill zone that's been prepared just for him. See, he'd already picked out the perfect spot. It was called Mailing Pass, and it was basically a natural death trap. We're talking a super narrow road with high, densely wooded mountains on both sides. It was the absolute perfect place to funnel a cavalry charge and just, well, make their numbers completely useless. And the trap springs with absolute, chilling precision. Just as the sun goes down, Pang Juan's cavalry rides right into the pass. Then, a scout spots something weird, a big tree with its bark stripped off, and there's writing on it. Pang Juan, curious, rides up and orders someone to light a torch so he can read it. That little flame, that single point of light, that was the signal for 10,000 archers hidden in the trees to let loose. In the message he read by that torchlight, it was his own epitaph, written for him by his rival. Can you imagine that moment? Realizing you've been so completely and totally outsmarted? The story goes that the proud general, defeated, took his own life right there. With their general gone and pure chaos breaking out in that narrow pass, the Qi army just poured out of the woods. They wiped out the entire 100,000-strong Wei force. It wasn't just a victory, it was an annihilation. So you have to ask, how did a smaller army that was retreating pull off something like this? Well, the answer takes us right back to that idea we started with: strategic momentum. Remember, she is all about shaping the situation, both in your opponent's mind and on the actual ground, so that everything just naturally flows your way. Sun Bin didn't just show up and fight a battle, he designed the victory conditions way before the first arrow ever flew. He was the one who put that giant stone at the top of the mountain, just waiting for the right moment to give it a little nudge. And this is a really cool way to break down how he did it. First, he created the momentum with that whole stove trick. He built a fake story that made his enemy careless and reckless. Then he borrowed momentum from the land itself, using the narrow modeling pass as a natural weapon. And finally, he unleashed all that built-up momentum with the ambush at night. That was him finally letting that stone roll. Okay, so what does a battle from thousands of years ago have to do with us today? Well, this whole idea isn't just for generals. It's actually a super powerful way to think about strategy in, business, your career, pretty much any competitive situation you can think of. Let's put it this way. All your potential, your skills, your resources, your team's talent, it's kind of like a block of wood or a big stone. It's just sitting there. It has potential, for sure, but without creating that momentum, its power is just untapped. It's not going anywhere. So how can you actually use this in your life? Well, first, you build your potential, kind of quietly. You gather your skills, your resources, your knowledge when nobody's really paying attention. Then you start to create your situation. You shape how people see things and prepare the environment. Next, you borrow from what's around you. You leverage trends, new tools, your network, whatever gives you an edge. And then finally, when the time is absolutely perfect, you act. You unleash everything when all the conditions are just right for you to succeed. So, when you really think about it, what does this all mean? In your career, in your personal goals, how are you going to create your own momentum? Because the real takeaway here is that success isn't always about being the strongest. It's about being the smartest. It's about creating a situation where winning becomes inevitable. It's less like a fight and more like gravity just doing its thing.